Hey, I'm Michaela. Today I'm going to talk to you about attachment. Attachment is an emotional connection that you have toward another person. Ideally, an attachment would make you feel safe, happy, important, treasured, loved in this other person's presence. The first emotional connections or attachments in life are your primary caregivers. This could be a parent, a grandparent, a foster parent. It varies by living situation. How these caregivers respond to your cries and requests for help determine what kind of attachment you're going to form with them. This attachment overflows into other relationships as you grow up into childhood and throughout your lifespan. Attachments even go on into adulthood. When you're an infant and a toddler, as you cry out for help, your caregivers choose how they're going to respond to you. If they respond to you in a way that brings you safety, comfort, and validation, then you're going to form a secure attachment to them. However, if your caregiver does not understand how to respond to you in a way that is healthy and meets your emotional needs, then this creates an insecure attachment as you learn from your caregivers what you can trust them to respond to and if they're going to meet your needs or not. If you cannot trust them to meet your needs, then you cannot have a secure attachment. Whether you have a secure or an insecure attachment to your primary caregivers significantly impacts the way you're going to view yourself. There are 4 types of attachment: secure attachment, anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, and disorganized attachment. Anxious, avoidant, and disorganized attachment are all forms of insecure attachment. As I mentioned earlier, you develop a secure attachment when you can depend on your caregivers to meet your emotional and physical needs. You know that you're safe. You know that your cries are going to be answered. You know that there is somebody there for you, even though you don't have language to express it yet. Not language that they can understand yet anyway. Your caregivers enable you to have healthy communication, and you learn that it's okay to have emotions. You learn how to regulate those emotions, and you also learn that you can ask for help when you need it. When you have a healthy relationship with your primary caregiver, it overflows into other areas of your life, into other relationships, because you've got the foundation set for what a healthy, secure relationship looks like. You believe that you can trust other people, and you're able to form secure, healthy attachments to them. You know that you have worth and that you're lovable and you can be open and honest in your communication with other people. You're comfortable with them relying on you, and you can also rely on them, but then also you can be independent. You have a very healthy sense of self in the world around you. You're happy being in the presence of this person, but you're also not stressed out if they leave. You know that it's not out of sight, out of mind. They're gone, they've disappeared. You know that they're coming back. You know that they're still in your life, even though they're not a part of your immediate moment. In a secure attachment, you enjoy being around this person, but you're also okay with being alone when they're gone. You don't feel like they're going to abandon you or not return. You know that they are still a part of your life and that they still deeply care about you. Secure relationships are so important in childhood from your primary caregivers because that is what sets the stage for you to have healthy, secure, safe relationships on through adulthood. However, not everybody is able to form a secure attachment. Insecure attachment occurs when a child does not get their emotional needs met from their primary caregivers. Insecure attachment makes it very difficult to build trust and have long-term relationships. As I mentioned earlier, there are 3 main types of insecure attachment: anxious, avoidant, and disorganized. If you have anxious attachment, you're likely to believe that your needs aren't going to be met. You might be very clingy in a relationship. You might be afraid that they're going to leave or abandon you. You don't trust them to stay. You need constant reassurance that your relationship with this person you have an anxious attachment to is okay with you. You need constant reassurance that they think good about you. You often question where you stand with them and what they think about you. At the same time, you have trouble believing the positive things that they say about you when they do try to reassure you. You think, oh, they're just saying that. They don't mean it. Because you have an anxious attachment. You crave closeness with them, but you're also afraid that they're going to leave you. You worry that if they did say positive things to you, that a few minutes later they might not mean it anymore. If you do something that might disappoint them or change their mind, you think that they're no longer going to feel those positive feelings towards you. You have a very sensitive nervous system and you're easily emotionally dysregulated. You feel like you have no control over your emotions and they're like a roller coaster that just comes and goes and there's no warning or rhyme or reason to it in your head. You have a hard time verbally communicating your needs when your anxiety kicks in. You just don't know how to get the words out. You don't know how to line up the sentences to say what you need. And you feel like you can't get them to understand anyway. The second insecure attachment is avoidant attachment. And if you look at it this way, avoidant attachment means you pretty much try to avoid everything, including the fact that you have emotions. You have a hard time expressing your emotions, and you might emotionally withdraw from others. You don't like to ask for help. You might avoid asking for help. You struggle to name your feelings because you're not even sure what your feelings are. You might even feel numb and feel like you technically don't have any feelings at all. Part of you wants relationships, and another part of you is totally uncomfortable with the idea of having closeness with another person. So you put up a wall to keep yourself safe, and you deny a need for connection or closeness with other people. Then there's number 3, disorganized attachment. If you have disorganized attachment, it means that you have a combination of anxious and avoidant attachment struggles. Disorganized attachment stems from trauma. This can be emotional, physical, or some other type of trauma. Your caregivers or some connection that you had early in your life was probably abusive or unpredictable. This can even be as simple or complex as religion. Your religion can cause an emotional trauma that creates a disorganized attachment. Since I specialize in talking about religious trauma, let's not ignore the fact that your religion is a very strong connection that you have early in life, that you definitely form an attachment to, that can definitely create a disorganized attachment. So what is it like to have disorganized attachment? Well, it's extremely chaotic and overwhelming because you've taken characteristics and symptoms from both avoidant and anxious attachment styles, and you've combined them all together into one. And oftentimes your responses to things are unpredictable and you feel out of control. If you find yourself in this category of disorganized attachment, you find yourself facing a combination of anxious and avoidant attachment characteristics. You're not able to explain yourself to other people, let alone half the time you don't even understand yourself. Relationships can be scary and confusing, and we're not just talking romantic relationships, we're talking about normal everyday friendships. Part of you wants to be really close to this person, and then another part of you pushes them away as you get scared about the closeness and connection because you don't know what to do with it. This can be a literal push and pull in a relationship where a person experiences you pushing them away or ignoring them and then wanting them to be closer and trying to communicate more. Or it can be a struggle you deal with silently in your head, where you're just in emotional turmoil and you're afraid to let them know because you don't want to hurt them. But your brain is in chaos and turmoil as you try to figure out what the fuck is going on. Your view of yourself is very negative. You have a low self-esteem and you tend to view the rest of the world in the same negative light. You don't think people can like you. You don't think they can love you for who you are. Not long term, at least. You're afraid that if you mess up or say something wrong in your relationship, that the relationship is over and you can't keep moving forward with it. You don't trust that the positive things they say to you are true. Connections are scary and it feels really difficult to describe yourself or try to figure yourself out. So a lot of times you'll just isolate because of the constant chaos and confusion that goes on in your head. You may also have a tendency to self-harm. If you need support and connection to somebody because you're afraid you're going to hurt yourself, you can text 741-741 to get help. And the new suicide hotline number is 988. Please take advantage of those resources if you're in danger. This is not the end and you can get through it. So both secure and insecure attachment styles play a role throughout your lifespan. Whatever attachment style you developed with your primary caregiver is going to play out in your relationships through childhood, through adulthood. But don't let that make you feel defeated, because even if you have an insecure attachment style, there are therapies and methods that you can use to heal that wounded inner child so that you can move on in life and learn to develop a secure attachment style with other people. You are not stuck. You are not stuck in an insecure attachment style for the rest of your life. You do not have to stay there. With a lot of hard work, you can grow out of that just like you grew into it. By finding a healthy, secure attachment with somebody, whether that's a therapist or somebody else in your life that can give you that secure relationship, you can learn that it's okay to trust people. You can learn that your body is safe, and you can learn to have a secure attachment with other people. All right, this is one of my first of many videos. I'm going to try to talk out what I'm learning. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and leave me a comment below if you want, telling me what's your attachment style and what did you learn about yourself today, and how can you take advantage of that knowledge that you have to move and grow forward. Have a good day, y'all.